know that you are queer, but your favorite drink is beer. That's gayish. You can bottom without stopping, but you can't stand going shopping. That's gayish. Oh, gayish. You're probably gayish. Well, life's just too short for narrow stereotypes, so it's gayish. We're also gayish. It's Gayish with Mike and Kyle.
Hello, everyone in the podcast universe. This is Gayish.
Hello.
I got choked up a little bit.
The podcast that did foot stuff with your dad.
Wait, today?
And yesterday and the day before. He's been calling.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
good for you all.
Yeah, good for me.
Never yuck anybody's yum.
Yeah, especially not foot stuff.
I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz.
And we're here to bridge the gap between sexuality and actuality. And today we are in Atlanta. Thank you so much for having us. Really appreciate it. Although you didn't have a choice, we came uninvited. Really.
You didn't have a choice. We came is an assertive sentence.
Yeah. The last time I was in Atlanta, Kyle,
Yeah.
I went to BJ Roosters, which is a local place that everyone should go to once. And I got bit by a stripper, and I got super COVID. The first time I had COVID was because of BJ Roosters here in Atlanta. I am not making that up.
What was
and
this?
I had to go to work the next day with teeth marks on my collarbone because this stripper bit me in the champagne room or whatever the fuck they're like, the lap dance room.
What was it worth it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Nice.
They
Good
always
for
say,
you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Are we going to BJ Roosters?
We just might have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
You gotta
Or
get
wait.
bit again.
I just want you to know you will hate it.
Okay, I can't wait to sit awkwardly in the corner there. Today, we're going to talk about...
Shut your whore mouth, Kyle.
Okay.
We don't reveal show topics at live shows until after the news. Don't know why we do
For
that,
some reason.
but that's a thing that we do. So
Yes, we'll tell you in a second.
Sit in suspense.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
It makes me feel powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Yeah. So a big thank you to Round Trip Brewing for hosting us today. Some of it just has to do, I think, with distance. I don't have a ton of friends in Atlanta, and I asked around and ended up getting in touch with Jolene, which is a lesbian bar that is trying to get off the ground or is off the ground, but they're doing a renovation. I don't know. Anyway, I really struck out finding a venue for this, and Jolene actually said, contact these guys. They're queer friendly. And we're just really thankful for this and the way that it all worked out. By a round of applause, because it's an audio medium. Kyle, why do I always want them to raise their hands? That's the wrong instinct to have.
Because you're feeling like a teacher or something?
How many of you have heard the show before?
How many of you have not heard the show before?
Okay.
We're with friends.
We're among friends. Great.
Yeah.
So no gayish virgins. That's fine.
We won't sacrifice you. That's fine.
It means that y'all did not bring enough friends, but that's okay. Is everybody in the part of the LGBT umbrella here too? Round of applause. Yeah. Okay. Great, and a shout out to our allies. Any allies want to give us a who? Okay. No
wow.
allies. Great. Okay, let's talk about the straight people, everybody. We really need them to get their shit together.
What the fuck, right?
Well, a reminder, the sign and Derek being pretty at the door probably made you remember that this is a very not safe for work show. The show is about gay stereotypes. We do one a week, and we've only missed a few weeks in the last almost 8 years. We'll be 8 years old in April. This is episode 427,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Please take as many selfies and videos and everything as you possibly can and tag @Gayish Podcast on all of the socials so that Derek earns his very tiny paycheck that we give him. At the end of the show, if you've heard the show, you know this. We do our Gayest Straightest, and at our live shows, we love to hear the gayest sisses and straight sisses of our audience. But unfortunately, I did not bring mugs. We usually give out gayish mugs to folks, and when I moved, all of the mugs broke. So I'm out of mugs.
Oh. You're just doing it for the airtime.
Just doing it for the airtime and stickers, or you get to make out with Derek. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if you want to share your gayest straightest, we would love to have it at the end of the show, so be noodling on that. What else, Kyle? Oh, we also inexplicably, when we're live, take a shot during the break. You know, we take, but there's no shots here, so I think we're just going to have to pound this.
Oh, this whole thing? Jesus Christ. Okay. I'm going to be working on it slowly throughout the thing so I don't have to pound the whole thing.
Okay.
That's a lot.
Pound that hole. Great. There are books. Thank you for buying them, those of you who did on the way in. I really, really appreciate it. We have literally no idea how we're doing book sales-wise. Our publisher is in England and doesn't talk to us. So Kyle thinks we've maybe sold 10. I think we've maybe sold 100. We'll see. Don't know. I'm kidding. Mostly. What else, Kyle? Did we do it? How's your Atlanta experience so far? How are you feeling this
It's
morning?
been great. I got engaged.
Yeah, you did. you absolutely did.
Yes. I met a stranger.
It was a non-consensual engagement.
And everyone around me started planning my wedding. And we really got into the details. I think it's going to be by a tree is what we decided.
Yeah.
And
no one's wearing white.
No one's wearing white.
Just
there's going to be a
beige
tres
and-
leches cake.
A tres leches cake, that's right. Yeah.
And he's going to cook for me.
Yep,
I
exactly
think
right.
those are all the decisions we made.
But then, you being uncomfortable powered down, 94 vodka Red Bulls, and I was just really worried about your kidneys.
Sugar-free.
Okay, well, but how's your heart?
How's my heart is a bigger question than you know.
Well,
but I'm engaged now, so it's fine. Everything's looking up for Kyle.
love it. Love
Yeah.
it. Also, we came to a brewery to not drink beer. That's pretty fantastic, too.
Yeah.
Sorry, round trip. Is that it?
How's your Atlanta experience so far? You've been here before.
I am hungover, but this fixed it.
Perfect. So glad.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Why do I do this to myself, Kyle? Everywhere we go, I get hammered the night before.
Because it's so tasty. I don't know.
That's true. That's true. Something about travel, though, just makes me want to be bad.
Yeah. Ooh, let's be bad.
Okay, well, let's be... Speaking of bad, here's the news.
Shut your mouth hole, it's time for your ear holes. News.
Great. Yeah. I tried really hard, Kyle.
Yeah.
I don't... it's easier to be depressing when it's just you and I in the studio.
Sitting just quietly crying alone
Yeah, exactly.
in a studio.
I legit tried to find some positiveness in the hellscape that is our country right now.
I'm eager to hear what positivity you gleaned from what's happening these days.
So let's first news the first.
Okay.
Let's talk about this Chris Cluey person. So you guys familiar with the Chris Cluey situation? See, this is the thing.
I am not.
This is the thing. He's an ally, but we need allies that are not in football, so we know who the fuck they are. So he's a former kicker for the Minnesota Vikings, and he was arrested at a Huntington Beach City Council meeting on Wednesday. And it's because he was peacefully protesting the installation of a plaque that referenced Make America Great Again. So the city put up an official city plaque that had the names of all of their city council members, and it said, as an acrostic, it said magical, alluring, galvanizing, and adventurous, in a way and a font and a coloration that makes it very clear that they're spelling out MAGA with the first letter of those words. And mostly people have been covering the fact that he got put in handcuffs and hauled away by the police, etc. But his reasoning is for our community. He said, quote, "What's happening to the trans community right now is exactly what happened to the trans community in Nazi Germany when Hitler came to power. And if we have learned anything from history, it's that we cannot allow that kind of genocide to happen again." He then concluded his remarks by saying that he would engage in the time-honored American tradition of peaceful civil disobedience and walked up the dais to stand in front of the city council people, and that's when he was hauled away. This dude is fighting for us and doesn't have to, and we need more of that in the universe.
Did more than I did.
Well,
That's
You got
pretty
on a
great.
plane and came to Atlanta.
That's true. And I was gay the whole time.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you, when you're on a plane, do you ever like have the urge to tell the people next to you that you're gay?
For some reason, I thought you were going to say, do you ever have the urge to fart slowly? And yes to both.
Can you do that on command?
Yeah. You can't?
No, I really can't. Not
Okay.
usually. Anyway, this Chris Cluey guy, good dude. Glad that he got arrested. Real sad that like apparently that's where we're at. This is in Orange County, California, by the way. Huntington Beach is. So
Wow.
if you think you're safe in a blue part of the country, you're really not. We need to stop thinking about red states and blue states. We really need to start thinking about blue cities and red assholes. Anyway, okay. News the second?
Yeah, that wasn't too bad. There was a positive spin on that. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm going to keep going.
Okay. Yeah, do it.
News the second. A federal judge in Maryland has issued a preliminary injunction that blocks key provisions of President Dickbag Fuckface Asshole's recent executive orders, specifically around diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. So the judge said that they likely violate constitutional protections and that basically, hand slap, he can't do that, which is great. U.S. District Judge Adam B. Abelson found that the orders that direct federal agencies to terminate equity-related grants and contracts and require contractors to certify compliance with anti-discrimination laws impose vague and potentially unlawful restrictions on federally funded programs. One of my favorite things about this story, though, is it's because one of the President's executive orders says that that they are banning, quote, illegal DEI, which they then declined to define.
What does that
What
mean?
does that
What
mean?
does that even mean?
Watch out, they're doing illegal DEI in here. I also like the thing that, like, whenever anybody's saying bad stuff about DEI, ask them what the letters stand for. So
Oh, yeah. If you're against DEI, what are you actually against?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just racism, everybody. Anyway, so there are some signs that the court system is going to help us at least a little bit mitigate the nightmare that's happening. So
I have not had much faith in the Democrats recently, so that's nice that at least one branch is helping us out.
yeah, absolutely.
Everything's good and you should feel good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Our Discord server has been just a real treat lately in the news and politics channel. News the last. On Tuesday, a Montana judge struck down state legislation seeking to unconstitutionally define sex and gender under state law. The court ruling said, quote, substituting the opinions of licensed medical professionals and individuals with that of the legislator's own beliefs and values impermissibly requires Montanans to identify themselves based on the political ideology of legislators.
So this is good for...
It's good for us.
Good, great, okay.
So basically, the court said that male and female are sexes that are exclusive and immutable categories based on the perceived chromosomal makeup of a child at birth. That was their language that they're trying to get put in, which, of course, trans folks, intersex folks, two-spirit folks, there's a lot of First Nations Native folks in Montana, all of whom don't fit the male-female binary. They sued to overturn the law and said that it stripped them of their civil rights, and this judge agreed. So
Nice.
It said that the legislation is, quote, intellectually and morally indefensible.
Damn.
Yeah.
Did you do 3 good news stories in a row?
I told you how hard I tried.
Wow,
Kyle.
I'm really impressed.
I mean, nobody wants to go to Montana. I had to get this to happen. I'm kidding, Montana. I love you. That's the news.
That's the news. Speaking of Montana,
Yeah.
I want to thank the phone.
Wait, but first, anybody here on our Patreon?
Oh.
Patreon supporters? Round of applause. Clap, 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 so we hear you.
Woo!
Great. Excellent.
Thank you. I want to thank the following new Patreon members as well. Thank you to Jack.
Wait, just Jack?
Just Jack. Just Jack.
Okay.
Thank you to, oh no, Ellerin, maybe?
Ellerin?
Yeah. Denver Glory Couple. Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think that means?
I mean,
Glory holes?
glory holes.
Okay,
yeah,
great.
yeah, obviously.
Great, great, great.
R.J. Holt, and also another one I nailed, and Just H.
Just H.
Nope, Just H.
Just H.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. If you
Have
want,
they considered Just H as like?
they will now.
Yeah, great.
Update your name.
Think about it.
If you want ad-free episodes a day early, if you want to get bonus content, if you want to support the show, go to patreon.com/gayishpodcast.
Yeah, do it.
Is now the time that
We
reveal
literally have to pause there because Podbean will put commercials in.
that was where the commercial break went.
Oh goodness. It's time for the topic reveal.
Yeah.
Inexplicably, for no reason whatsoever, we always wait to reveal the topic of our live shows until this moment at our live shows. So what we're going to do is count backwards, and then when Kyle reveals this piece of poster board with the topic on it, you're going to yell it at us, Family Feud style. Is everybody ready? Yes. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Coke. We're going to talk about Coke.
We are going to talk about Coke. This is obvious for the people that live here, but there is the, well, I was going to say because of the Coca-Cola Museum, but maybe there's more going on than I know. We're going to talk about Coke. We're going to talk about Coke a few ways.
Yeah, all 3 ways.
What's the third?
Well, so there's Coke like Coca-Cola, or if you're in the South, any kind of soda apparently is like Coke, like it's fucking tissue paper instead of Kleenex or whatever. And then there's cocaine, and then there's Coke, the fuel that's used to melt metals into steel. It's real.
Sure.
Which I hope everybody's on board for, because I've got about 45 minutes of content on making steel today. So.
We're going to start with Urban Dictionary, though.
Okay, Urban Dictionary, yeah.
So, Coke.
You know, longtime listeners are so disappointed that they're not getting the history of very first.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I do what I want.
We decided on the Uber right over here. Urban Dictionary, okay. What's
Urban
it?
Dictionary, Coke. The definition for Coke. There are 2 definitions, obviously. Short for
No,
the
there's 3.
No, not an Urban Dictionary.
Okay, great.
Urban Dictionary doesn't know about smeltering or whatever the fuck you were talking about. Definition 1 of 2, short for the drug cocaine. And the example sentence is, pass the Coke, bitch. And then definition number 2 is short for the beverage Coca-Cola. And the example sentence is, pass the Coke, bitch. The next definition I'm going to tell you about is Coke nails.
Coke nails.
Do you know about the Coke nail?
Okay, here's the thing.
Whoa, what?
I do.
Yeah?
And the concept was introduced to me by somebody at a Tori Amos concert, which I was straight then.
Wow.
And
You were a lesbian then.
But like, I was like, what is she doing? And because she was futzing around inside of her piano, and one of the people I was with said, she's using her Coke nail. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
So if you don't know what that is, the definition is when a person has one significantly longer fingernail on one or both hands, most often the pinky nail, that is used for scooping powder cocaine and snorting it.
Yeah. Yeah.
The nail becomes a vessel as opposed to needing an item to snort a line of Coke through, like a straw or rolled up dollar bill, etc.
Very handy if you can't find your credit card.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
To make a line.
To make a line. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I'm so good at coking, everybody, just so you know.
Are you great at cocaine?
I'm excellent.
The next definition
I'm not, by the way. I don't know if I've ever even seen it in person. Just like
You've never seen cocaine?
I don't know.
You've been to gay bars, so you've seen it being used.
I thought maybe everybody just hangs out with a lot of baking soda.
That's why it's taking them so long in the bathroom.
Oh, you disappeared for a while last night, Kyle.
I did.
Okay, great. Great.
Next definition is cokehead, which Urban Dictionary definition of cokehead is a person fortunate enough to have enough money to support a steady diet of delicious cocaine. I like that definition.
It is expensive, right?
I wouldn't know.
Oh.
I've only been given it, never purchased for myself.
Oh, okay. I didn't know we were going to talk about you doing coke.
Oh, I mean, of course, the episode is called Coke, so.
Great. Welcome to the party, Atlanta. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. The next one is Coke whore.
Oh.
And the definition.
Is it just your picture?
Now that was uncalled for. That was rude. Coke whore, in the literal sense, any woman who will perform sexual favors to acquire the drug cocaine. Which, I don't know, why is the whore got to be a woman?
I don't appreciate the sexism at all.
But I did that. Yeah, I did that thing on Urban Dictionary where it's like it's pretty sexist. So, do you remember me talking about that study of Urban Dictionary that was like?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's sexist.
'Cause it's all tech bros, right? And
I think so.
4chan nerds or something.
Yeah. Part of the manosphere is what the study that I read called it. That doesn't matter. The next one is Coke dick. Do you know about Coke dick?
Okay, I'm no, but I'm gonna guess.
Yeah.
It's either because you did coke, your dick doesn't work, or here's my dick, there's coke on it, enjoy.
Oh, yeah. No, it's the first one, but the second one, yeah.
Okay. If I
This
ever
is too much about me this early on.
Everybody said they've heard the show. They know, Kyle.
They know. That's true. We're talking to friends. It's okay. And then the last one is Coke shit. The need to defecate when you have your first line of Coke.
Ever or every time?
Like in the night. Like
Okay.
the first one of the night.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a stimulant, right?
Yes.
It's like
Gets,
when I was a
does it
smoker,
get
the first cigarette of the morning was like, oh, yep, that's what I needed.
Oh, got your train moving?
Or like caffeine, right? A cup of coffee. That's
Okay. Yeah, same
buy that.
idea. Same idea.
a Coke shit.
Yeah.
All right.
That's Urban Dictionary.
Okay. Well, are there any missing terms? Should we have? Anybody know of any other terms out there? Coke something?
Coke terms that I should have looked up?
No.
No.
All right.
I got it covered.
Great. Excellent. You nailed it.
Did my
Per
research.
usual. Well, that was mostly about cocaine. I'm going to pivot back to the Atlanta hometown thing and talk about the history of Coca-Cola. Really, in case, it's probably just like a thing that everybody knows here, but I don't know if everybody knows. Coca-Cola legit used to have cocaine in it. Like
Yum.
that's part of the history. So it was made. The recipe was made by this dude named John Pemberton. And he was a Civil War veteran because this was in the 1880s. And because he got wounded during the Civil War, he became addicted to morphine. And he did not like morphine shits. He wanted cocaine shits instead.
Is that an upgrade?
So he created a syrup called Pemberton's French Wine Coca Nerve Tonic. And
That doesn't roll off the tongue.
Well-
I have some marketing feedback for him.
what would you call it, Kyle? Because the answer is Coca-Cola.
Pemberton's? Okay. Yeah, that works. That's better.
There was a Spanish drink called Cola Coca that was presented at a contest in Philadelphia in 1885, but Coca-Cola eventually bought the rights to that name. But it was different enough from Coca-Cola that there really wasn't that big of a fight over the whole thing. But this is important to the story later, Kyle.
Oh, I'm paying attention.
Yeah. Back in the
Yes.
day, you had soda jerks, which has nothing to do with jerking off. The first time I heard about soda jerks, my grandfather, I think, was talking about it. I was like, that is disgusting. But
In my soda?
what you would do is go to the drugstore and you would get like seltzer. The soda jerk would make your beverage for you, and that would be a syrup of some kind plus the bubbles and to cut it to make it like drinkable. And so Coca-Cola started out that way. This Pemberton dude was like hawking his syrup all around town, and here in Atlanta. And it's important because what I really want to get to here, Kyle, is there was about 70 years where Coca-Cola was a nickel. period, full stop. It was always a nickel. And I just am really interested in like the history behind all of that. None of this has anything to do with gay people, by the way, except that like they were all getting high. But I learned a lot, Kyle, about Coca-Cola.
Yeah?
Because it was just the syrup. Initially, it was just the syrup. And then they got into this deal with the bottling industry because bottling wasn't a thing. Everybody was going to use the soda jerk instead of like buying it off of, at the store on the shelf in a bottle. That wasn't a thing yet. So eventually they figured out how to bottle stuff, and they had a bunch of agreements about the syrup, and Coke intentionally kept it at 5 cents because of those deals. Like they weren't allowed to sell it for more, so they focused instead heavily on advertising and just going for volume. Like if the legal arrangement between all of these ways that it was made led it so that they couldn't raise the price, they were going to just advertise the shit out of it, and that's sort of how it became an icon. So it became a household name intentionally because they didn't have the option of raising the price. They just had to get the word out.
Okay. This is usually in the history where you mention someone that you speculate is gay.
Right.
Is that happening in this story?
That unfortunately no. It's not going to happen. I'm really sorry.
Pemberton wasn't gay?
No, he was just wounded, and he sold it fairly early.
Loved his morphine.
He sold it to Asa Candler in 1888, and then a bunch of lawyers from Chattanooga. There's some folks from Chattanooga here. They bought the bottling rights, and anyway, all of this stuff. But here's one thing that I think is interesting and fucked up about this story.
Okay.
Eventually, they bought companies and things changed and the law changed, and it became that they could raise the price. But then the problem was vending. Vending machines wouldn't reliably give change. They wouldn't reliably take coins. And when they had figured out how to make them do that, they would just take one coin. Like a nickel and no change was like the best the vending machines could do. That lasted long enough that eventually Coke was like, well, we got to raise prices. We can now. We legally can now. We figured our shit out. We can raise prices. But everybody would freak the fuck out if we went immediately to a dime. Like if we doubled the price from a nickel to a dime, everybody would lose their shit, right? So Coca-Cola tried to get the U.S. government to make a 7.5-cent coin.
What?
They're like, we think people could handle that, but the coin doesn't exist, so you're going to make us that coin, Uncle Sam.
Wow, what a specific request.
And can you imagine if we had little ass coins that were 7.5 cents?
It'd be so fucking annoying. I hate pennies.
I hate nickels.
Nickels are worthless as well.
Let's just go with dollar coins or whatever now.
Yeah.
Anyway, by 1959, they had sold the last of the nickel Cokes, but it was for 70 years, it was exactly the same price, and I think that's pretty great. And I wonder if we could lock in the price of, I don't know, vodka? What's the gay version of that?
The gay version of Coke?
Yeah. It's Coke?
Coke.
Okay, great. Let me see if I have anything else here in my notes that I want to talk about. I did briefly, and then we'll go to your thing. I know. No, I'll talk about this later because it's more cocaine than Coca-Cola. More other beverages that had cocaine in them because there was plenty.
Oh.
Apparently, there's still the flavor of cocaine is in the drink. Like they de-cocainize the coca leaves, but they still use them somehow in the flavoring.
Huh.
And I was going to maybe talk about Coke was apparently not kosher, and then they fixed the recipe for the Jewish community so that they could drink it on Passover. There's lots of really interesting shit. It's just none of it's gay. So maybe Coca-Cola is just straight. Maybe it just is.
Okay, yeah, we haven't decided whether the Coca-Cola stereotype is gay or straight.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to talk a little bit more about Coca-Cola.
Yeah, you've got a whole thing on Coca-Cola.
Yes.
So let's do that.
Okay, I have a little bit more Urban Dictionary definitions.
Oh, great.
You didn't sound excited about that.
I am now.
Okay,
Yeah.
You just had to get into it. Sure. Okay, Diet Coke.
Yeah.
Definition on Urban Dictionary is a really, really good beverage and not only for women on diets. So the stereotype of Diet Coke is very women
Yeah, for sure.
focused.
I mean, the whole thing about diet soda and the cola wars, and do you remember Tab? Tab was a diet soda in the late 70s and early 80s, and like it got banned by the FDA because it caused cancer in rats because it had saccharin in it or something. But like, there's a whole bunch of like marketing and like culture around diet sodas being for fat girls, and it's really unfortunate because it's just not true.
Yeah.
Also, my other thing about Diet Coke, you know what I associate it with?
What?
I have a cousin who's like used to be super a drug addict, and she likes Diet Coke because she says it has the best burn, that she wants it to physically hurt her throat when she's drinking the beverage, and that Diet Coke is the best of those options.
Okay, sometimes I drink a LaCroix for that reason. I just
Really?
wanted to, yeah, it barely has any flavor, so I'm just looking for it to like burn
Hurt?
my throat. Yeah.
Okay, great.
I mean, hurt me a little bit, right?
Choke me, Daddy LaCroix.
The Coke Zero definition on Urban Dictionary is Diet Coke in a different bottle for men who think Diet Coke is for girls. Right? So that's
real.
Anytime there's like things, I actually don't know the difference between these two drinks, but
I'm going to talk about that.
Okay, we'll save it for that. But it's definitely like there have to be, men need things marketed to them in a specific way to make them not feel like they're drinking a female product. Like they have to be like, we're dudes and we're in the army and guns and drink Coke Zero. Like it has to be all, masculine.
Yeah, well, so bringing that to the gay community then, I think that there's a lot of gays, femme gays, who aren't like that, or they even seek out sort of the feminine thing, quote unquote feminine thing. But do like mask for mask bros also behave this way? Probably.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I think because they're too scared to do anything too feminine.
Maybe.
And that's why they're mask for mask. Urban Dictionary definition for Jack and Coke is Jack Daniels mixed with Coca-Cola, the official I'm trying to get smashed drink of people everywhere. Do you agree?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
The official I'm trying to get smashed drink is for sure like shots of Jaeger or something like.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I have a friend in college who hated drinking. She hated the taste of alcohol. So she would just do 8 shots of vodka in a row.
Oh, God.
Just down them one by one.
I would think that would just, like, is there something wrong with her central nervous system that she wouldn't just immediately throw up?
You would just repeat on you right away?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. She liked being drunk, though, so that was fun.
Same girl.
I know, right?
Cheers.
to being at a brewery. Let's see. Another definition for Jack and Coke. What I really want to talk about is Jack and Coke and the stereotypes associated with Jack and Coke.
Okay.
Another Urban Dictionary definition of Jack and Coke is a way to ruin 2 perfect beverages at once.
Yeah, okay.
And then the last one is what pussies drink when they can't handle straight Jack Daniels.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Right? Someone has opinions.
Apparently so, yeah.
So I looked up a bunch of articles that asked bartenders what their stereotypes are about various drinks and looked at the Jack and Coke one.
Great.
And here are some of the stereotypes bartenders have about Jack and Coke.
Okay.
The first one is you'll be fighting someone in a few hours.
Okay. It is like I imagine Jack and Coke to be like a masculine in a fragile way dude.
Oh. Why?
Who then, like, it's masculine, like fragile masculine dudes are the ones that go and fight people too.
Yeah.
So like,
yeah.
I don't know. It just is.
Huh.
Interesting. Go ahead.
Another one is the equivalent of a Budweiser. It signifies you haven't really grown out of childhood yet, but still want something that will go down faster and harder than a beer. Bonus points of trashiness if it's the $5 drink special that night.
Oh, God. We're in the South now. Does Georgia allow like 2-for-1 drink specials and that kind of thing? Or like do you have beer busts where you pay a flat fee and you can just drink as much as you want to? Yes nods to that one. Okay, we'll compare notes after the show. I want to know where this is a thing.
Are we going there after?
I don't know. BJ Brewster's girl, if we go, it's like $20 a cocktail because they got to pay for that dick somehow.
Oh, God. That's okay. That's fine. I'll go. It'll be fine.
Great.
It'll be fine.
Great.
It'll be fine.
Everything's fine, Kyle.
It'll be fine. Another bartender said the stereotype of Jack and Coke is you're a traditionalist, and as the night goes on, you tend to increase the amount of Jack while cutting back on the Coke.
Yeah.
Which I could see that.
If you're pouring them yourself, yeah.
Yeah. And then lastly is a classic drink that is universally known. Order this drink at a bar, and you will give the impression of being safe, not a thrill seeker, and overall easygoing, unless you drink like 10. Mm-hmm. So there's a bunch of different stereotypes about Jack and Coke but I agree with you. It's for dudes that
it's
have
also
some feelings that they don't want to talk about.
It has this like mask aura about it or whatever, but also both of those ingredients are sweet. Like Jack Daniel's isn't keto because there's too much residual sugar in it, and Coke, well, that's Coke. It's sweet as fuck. Like, it's really interesting to me that somehow, like, it cancels each other out to be this, like, I don't think of a Jack and Coke as being super duper sweet, but...
You came up with a rule, I think it was on the gin episode, that if there's 2 ingredients, then it's a straight drink.
Yeah.
The second you add a third ingredient to a drink, then it becomes a gay stereotype.
Like a Jack and Coke with lime, gay.
Yeah.
Automatically. If you add a fruit of any kind intentionally, gay.
I always get vodka sodas with lemon, and I assume that the lemon is like, hey, I'm gay, everybody, and I need you to know about it.
Well, because like vodka soda lime is gay water, twink water, and like a lemon, that throws everybody for a loop. So you're like mysterious and interesting,
Yeah.
but still totally
Still
a faggot,
really
right?
boring. Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. Well, is that you good?
Yep.
Jack and Coke?
Yep.
Well, let's go back to this thing. I wanted to do a segment really quick just with the audience of Coke versus Diet Coke versus Coke Zero. So you're going to applaud for which of those 3 you would select if forced at gunpoint to drink an entire can. So I put that on there just because there's some people that I don't think drink soda at all, and that's fine, that's valid. But in this scenario, you have to drink one of them. Applaud. So regular old Coke.
Me too. Yep.
Well, you're not clapping, Kyle. Jesus Christ. Great. Excellent.
I'm yeah.
Diet Coke. Great. And Coke Zero. Okay, good. I was going to throw these headphones on the ground and march right out of here if there wasn't at least a handful of people that clapped for Coke Zero. I fucking love Coke Zero, Kyle.
Why? What about it?
It is clearly the superior choice.
Okay. What's the difference?
There's no calories.
Okay.
It tastes better. It tastes like a regular Coke in a way that Diet Coke certainly doesn't.
Okay.
You're like, stop making that face at me. What?
It has 0 calories. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. Coke can't have 0 calories. There's calories in it. Like, it's a substance.
You think that's a lie?
It doesn't make sense. My brain can't comprehend that there's 0 calories in a Coke, and I don't trust Diet Coke.
Okay, let's run through a fantasy scenario then. You have just gotten a notification on Sniffies.
I haven't checked recently.
That the dude down the hall that you've been eyeing for a while wants to bang, is going to rail you. So
Great.
You immediately start douching.
Great. Yep, as I do.
As you do. And you can't help but notice through that process of cleaning out that there's whole-ass kernels of corn in your poop. Have you ever experienced that, a whole-ass kernel of corn in your poop?
No.
As a round of applause, have you ever seen corn in your poop? Great. Excellent. It's okay to clap for corn in your poop, everybody. We need to have this conversation.
Okay.
Here's where I'm going. The corn went in your mouth. It did not turn into poop. It stayed whole. There's no calories in that, even though it went through your body.
Okay. Coke Zero is like the kernel of corn?
Yes. I'm trying to convince you that you can put things in your mouth and taste them that don't get digested, don't become calories. Like, calories isn't about like just the caloric value of the things that you put in your body, but also your body burning them in your digestive system and turning it into energy. So
No.
There's flavorings, like there's also like there's no calories in like, I don't know, cumin, like lots of spices. Like,
But but that makes sense to me because it's so little.
Okay.
I literally wrote on my pages, I just have a section called Other, and it says Diet Coke. Don't trust it. That's all it says. I don't know what I thought I was going to make that into an entire. I kind of guess we did make it into a full segment, but
oh my god,
nope.
Oh my god, Kyle.
Nope.
So the real difference between those, just so you know, is that I used to think, I learned for the show today that I always thought that Coke Zero or Coke Zero Sugar, or Zero Sugar Coke is what they call it in Europe. But I thought that it was sucralose. I thought that it was like Coke Zero is Splenda, Diet Coke is Equal or NutraSweet or whatever the fuck the chemical is that's in it, and that's why they taste different. And that's not exactly true. Coke Zero is actually also sweetened with aspartame. Both drinks use aspartame as the main sweetener, but Coke Zero has an extra ingredient called acesulfame potassium.
Sure.
And so, in my opinion, and I know opinions make the world go round, Coke Zero is just Diet Coke with an extra ingredient that makes it not taste like ass.
Okay.
And that's why I drink it and I love it.
Okay.
Everyone agrees with me. Yeah, we do. Clearly. Okay, we're going to play another game, everybody. And the name of this game is going to be Cocaine versus Diet Cocaine versus Cocaine Zero. Okay? I'm going to say them, and you have to choose one of them. No, I'm kidding. That was my joke. I told you I had a joke to segue us away from Coca-Cola and into cocaine. That was it. You just heard it.
Oh, that was the joke?
That was the joke.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was good.
So segue. We're gonna talk about cocaine more, which I think is actually more like gay versus straight. We have more to talk about.
Yes.
In the cocaine world than we do in the Coca-Cola
yes.
world.
So are we saying that Coke is a straight stereotype and cocaine is a gay stereotype?
I think cocaine is a straight drug.
Oh.
And that's just as somebody who doesn't partake, and again, I don't even know if I've ever actually seen it in person. I think of cocaine as being like a finance bro on Wall Street does lines of coke, and that it's very like totes mask, white boy because there's money. That's my thing. So tell me I'm wrong. Let's do some data.
Yes. Okay. Perfect. I have data on this. This is from the Sexual Orientation and Estimates of Adult Substance Use and Mental Health. Results from the 2015 National Survey on Drug Use and Health by Grace Medley, Rachel N. Lipari, John Bose, Devin S. Cribb, Larry A. Coutil, and Gretchen McHenry.
Nailed it.
Thanks. Thanks.
Is this a peer-reviewed study, Kyle?
This is put out by the
Put that finger away.
No, you asked, so you get the finger. This is put out by the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Service Administration, a branch of the Department of Health and Human Services.
Okay.
This is the same one.
R.I.P.
Yeah. This is the same study that I talked about when I talked about meth.
Okay. Oh yeah. You've brought this one up a couple of different times.
And it's in the book too.
Yeah. Okay.
Gayishpodcast.com/book.
On sale at the front with Derek.
Okay, so just as a reminder, they did over 68,000 interviews, and approximately 3,000 of those interviews were adult respondents age 18 and older who identified as a sexual minority, and they're only doing gays, lesbians, and bisexuals.
Okay.
So reminder that trans people are not included in this, unfortunately.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's how these studies go. And this is a reminder as well, 39.1% of LGBT people have used an illicit drug in the past year. That's compared to 17.1% for straight people.
What makes it illicit? Does that just mean illegal?
I think so.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Like if you're in a place where weed is illegal, it's legal where we live recreationally. Like I have a weed store next door. It's great.
But they also have in here misuse of prescription drugs. So it's not just whether it's legal or not, it's how you're using it.
Okay.
Yeah. So marijuana is the top one for LGBT people at 30.7%.
Okay.
So cocaine. Let me tell you about the order goes marijuana in terms of how much they are used. It goes marijuana, then it goes misuse of prescription pain relievers, then misuse of prescription tranquilizers, then cocaine.
Okay.
That's the order. And cocaine, for LGB people, what percentage of LGB people have done cocaine in the past year?
Oh, God, 23.
Wow. No.
What?
5%.
Oh.
Much lower. So you overestimated the gays' affinity for cocaine.
Because
Okay.
I just constitutionally assume that everyone is having more fun than me. and that the reason I don't even know what cocaine really looks like is that it's because I'm boring.
Yeah, I think that's common. I get that. And the inverse of this is that means 95% of LGB people have not done cocaine in the past year. So
Great.
Most people don't do cocaine.
Yeah.
But our cocaine use is 5.1%. Straight people, it's at 1.8%. So we by far use cocaine more than straights.
Great. Congrats, gay people. You're crushing it.
We did it. Yes. Hooray. For men, for straight men, it's at 2.5% have used it in the past year.
Okay.
For gay people, it's 5.6%.
Great.
So 2.2 times that of straight men.
Yeah.
For bisexuals, it's 3.4%, so 1.4 times that of straight men. So
It's so funny to me. Anytime bisexuals come up, I desperately want them to be either like 0 or like they're the most. And they just are always between straight people and gay people, and it's sort of offensive.
That's where they like to be. I think that's their home.
They're not just like kind of gay. They're like their own thing.
Yeah. Okay, then you'll love this, because for women, straight women, 1.1% have used it in the past year.
Okay.
So far less than straight men.
Yeah.
For lesbians, it's 2.4%. So that's 2.2 times that of straight women.
But like about the same as the straight dudes.
But about the same as straight dudes.
So lesbians are straight dudes
lesbians
in the
and
coke
straight
department.
Yep,
Okay.
exactly. And for bisexual women, it's at 6.7%. Right?
There it is. I'm very happy.
The bisexuals really stood out this time.
Yeah.
So
Good
it's
work, bisexuals.
6 times that of straight women. So and this was the same thing for meth as well. Bisexual women like really stood out compared to straight women.
Huh.
There's something about bisexual women that I don't know if there's like unique stressors, or I don't know why they do more drugs than straight women, but they do a lot more drugs than straight women.
You're making me realize that I need more bisexual women in my life.
Oh yeah?
Like that's a difficult to find demographic for me socially, apparently. Like where do they hang out?
Where do they go? Bisexual women, hit us up. Where do you go? And can we be your friend?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like this. This is a good use of our podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's the Gayda. So
Okay.
yes, you were wrong. It is not a straight bro thing. I mean, I think it is. I think you're right that that's a demographic, but it is by far more used by gays.
I mean, there's definitely, I don't know how to bring all of this in, right? But like there's the perennial problem that gay culture is unfortunately defined by white, cis, male queer people. And we know that demographic can have like more disposable income, and cocaine is expensive. Like I would think that all of that would triangulate to it's the white cis gays that are the ones that are putting it up their nose. Do you think
Bisexual women.
it's bisexual women? Apparently, I have to rethink everything, Kyle.
Yep.
Okay. Well, let's talk about side effects.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. That's a good idea. I feel like we didn't do the side effects enough when we talked about meth, so
Yeah.
we should talk about the side effects.
Okay. Yeah. What are the side effects? You said you had some content too.
Oh yeah. Do you want? I mean, I just wrote down from the Cleveland Clinic. I wrote down the short-term and long-term side effects.
Okay. Well, why don't you do short term? What are the short term side effects?
Seizures.
Oh, that's bad.
Is bad.
Okay.
Not great. Hallucinations. Delirium.
That is not a thing. Hallucinations is not a thing that I think of when I think about coke, right? Like, it's not a hallucinogen, but that happens.
I guess according to the Cleveland Clinic, I don't know who they are, but they sound reputable, right?
Well,
They sound legit.
I also associate coke with Ohio, so I suppose that's that works out.
Okay. Delirium, violent behavior, hypothermia, arrhythmia, chest pain, difficulty breathing, and coughing up blood are all short-term side effects.
Ew.
I mean, but also like it keeps you awake. Like they didn't do the fun ones.
No.
There's also fun side effects, which is why people do the drug.
Yeah. Maybe that's marketing. Like maybe that's intentional.
Maybe they're not including the fun side effects in this article about it. I guess that's probably smart, but
So one of the things that I've seen in movies and is on the list of like acute effects of cocaine is itching or feeling like you've got insects on your skin. Like you'll see the person that's like scratching at them and themselves, and that's so disturbing to me. Like the idea that like you would feel bugs on you is super disturbing to me.
I've never felt that.
It seems so gross.
That does seem horrifying. That seems like a circle of hell, like there's bugs crawling on you.
Like aggressive behavior. Is it true that like when people are doing coke that they're just like super extra like aggressive? This is why I don't maybe this is why I don't think anybody's doing coke around me. Like I don't have that kind of energy in my life anywhere.
You don't have any aggressive people in your life?
No, I mean last night at Blake's a little bit, but other than that,
that was a little aggressive. No, but also the people that I do with, I'm friends with. So like we don't act aggressive towards each other in that context. So like we mostly just hook up,
Okay.
which is part of the fun part of drugs.
Physical side effects from chronic smoking of cocaine include coughing up blood, bronchospasm.
I don't even know what that means.
Your bronchial tubes spasm, I guess. Anybody, is there a doctor in the house? Let's see. Itching, fever, pulmonary and systemic eosinophilia, chest pain, lung trauma, sore throat, asthma, hoarse voice,
Did you say whore's voice?
Hoarse voice.
Hoarse voice. Got it. Okay.
Flu-like syndrome. And then I didn't know this, but apparently coke jaw is a thing. It's very similar to meth mouth, but coke jaw and meth mouth are both because it dries out your mouth, and long term that's real bad for your teeth, bones, jaw stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I don't know. This is a bummer.
I mean, part of it is a bummer, right? Like, gays. I wrote down that one study showed that 15% of people who use cocaine became addicted to the drug within 10 years.
10 years?
Yeah. It takes time.
My grandpa's 92. I'm going to tell him to start a coke habit if that's how long it takes. Okay. Did anybody, like, you're going to be admitting your age, and I apologize for that, but did you all have a round of applause? Did you have DARE classes here? One of the most disturbing things from DARE that I will never, it just pops into my brain randomly, like at the store, like, is that if you snort cocaine, that it will make your septum will dissolve. That's one of the disturbing, like, don't do drugs, kids, things that they told me in DARE, that I was convinced if you snort cocaine once, you're just going to have a big old hole in the middle of your nose. And I was surprised, because then eventually I was like, oh, I smoked weed and everything's fine. Everything they told me must have been a lie.
Yeah.
That one's actually true, that it does very slowly dissolve your septum, but it takes more than just doing it once. And the reason for it actually is because when it goes up your nose, some of it is dissolved into your membranes, but what remains is acidic. It's like hydrochloric acid is what's left after the drug has been absorbed, and that drips and that starts burning a hole in your tissues.
Do you think DARE worked for you? Because you didn't do cocaine.
I'm very repressed, Kyle.
Yeah, you just think it's that? It's not anything to credit DARE with?
I don't know. My dad was a cop, and I'm in my 40s. I'm 46, so DARE was like, for me, was like the 80s, the early 80s. Reagan was in office. Fuck that guy. And I don't think it. No, it worked. Yeah, it worked.
Wow.
I had to think about it and arrive there. But like, I for sure am like, there are drugs that I'm afraid of and would never ever touch, and it's for sure Dare's fault.
But there should be some drugs that you're afraid of and never ever touch, and like that's a good thing.
Yeah,
That's a healthy thing. But the way that they went about, I don't totally like the way they went about teaching us and like the impression that they gave of drugs that, like you would smoke weed once and all of a sudden you'd be addicted to all these kinds of drugs. Like it doesn't work like that. It doesn't even work like, it just, they gave me the wrong impression about drugs.
Weed and shrooms and a couple of other things accidentally, and that's it. That's my experience.
You accidentally did some drugs?
Yeah, I had some. So before it was regulated, before it was like recreational in Washington State, and like you could trust what was in the package because it's regulated, you'd have to buy weed from like random ass people, or you'd have to know
Robert.
a guy who knew a guy or
From
whatever.
Robert.
And one time we were smoking weed, and it was like definitely not just weed, like a sensation that I'd never felt before, because there was like tracers and like there was a hallucinogenic aspect to the high that I had not experienced before with just marijuana. So I don't know what it was, but it definitely wasn't just weed, for sure.
Wow. That's scary.
Yeah. I mean, that's the danger now with all of these street drugs, right? Is that like fentanyl is in everything. And or crushed glass, apparently, if you're doing X. Like, it's crazy.
I didn't know that one.
We just need to regulate everything. Legalize everything and put it at Safeway or Publix, right? Like, so you know what you're getting. I don't know. You said you had more data.
Oh, I do.
Is it also depressing?
But I wanted to, on the long-term side effects, I wanted to stay in this fun area of side effects.
Great.
The long-term side effects: heart attack, stroke, hepatitis C, pneumonia, seizures, and HIV.
What?
HIV is one of the long-term side effects, according to this website that I found.
I guarantee. Well, no, I can't. I'm not a doctor. I doubt very much that you could put cocaine in your body and you spontaneously develop HIV.
So I think it's because you may be more likely to have riskier sex.
Okay.
This is part of the stuff that I hate about drug programs, because it's very misleading. Like, you're right. Like, no, it doesn't give you HIV. Like, that's not how that works. So I just was really annoyed that...
Is this the pharmacological version of guns don't kill people, people kill people?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Like, was it the drugs? Did the drugs deserve the blame? I don't know. I'm going to have to think about that.
No, I have risky sex when I don't do drugs. So so I don't know that I personally can blame the drugs.
All right.
I have more data.
Okay.
And this is more qualitative. This is called "It's One of the Better Drugs to Use: Perceptions of Cocaine Use Among Gay and Bisexual Asian American Men." I just wrote Asian American me. That's not. This is by Adam Fazio, Jeffrey Hunt, and Molly Maloney in 2011 in the Qualitative Health Research Journal, which is in fact a peer-reviewed journal that covers the field of public health. So the background on this is they did research on drug use among gay and bisexual men, predominantly examining the link between drug use. Research has predominantly focused... when they do research on gay and bisexual men, we predominantly focus on meth use. And this wanted to investigate, well, what about cocaine? Like, let's get another drug in the mix and investigate what's the link between gay and bisexual men and cocaine use.
Yeah.
What are their beliefs? They interviewed 40 gay and bisexual Asian American men in the San Francisco Bay Area gay community.
Okay.
And here's some of the results, some of the takeaways of what people said about the drug. First, participants had positive attitudes about cocaine use and believed that they were well aware of the side effects of the drugs and the risks associated with it.
Okay.
So this is already wild that, like, I don't know, do you have a positive association?
Wait, like, oh, Coke's great. Everyone should do it.
Yeah.
That kind of thing? Okay.
I think of it like like alcohol, I have positive associations with drinking alcohol.
I mean, I didn't at 9 a.m., but like,
But yeah, I think that same kind of feeling of like, oh yeah, it's great. They praise the drug for its ability to enhance social ability.
interesting. Okay.
So there are positive feelings about cocaine use in the gay community. It also said that many of the participants described the drug as ubiquitous, which is what, when you estimated that it was like a quarter of people used it, I think that's the feeling, is that it's ubiquitous and expected within the gay club scene. They went as far as to compare it to alcohol in terms of its prevalence and acceptability. Which, that to me is like, I don't know, all of this is wild, the way people feel about cocaine use in our community.
Just like how incorrect they are.
It's not totally incorrect because like there are some facets of it can enhance sociability. So I get that part of it, but like just how positive they felt about cocaine. Where cocaine was understood as innocuous, sometimes even glamorous, whereas meth was described as dangerous and shameful. So in the abstract of this, I want to just read what the abstract said.
Is that because it's expensive?
That might be part of it.
Like anything's cool if it costs money.
Okay, they did address why potentially people have such positive attitudes towards cocaine. They said, we found that the participants, in contrast to the negative perceptions of meth use, believed that cocaine enhanced sociability and was acceptable for use in most social situations. Furthermore, participants perceived little connection between cocaine use and risky sexual practices, emphasizing the drug's safety relative to other illicit substances. Based on these findings, we suggest that an increase in the favorability of cocaine use might be an unintended consequence of meth prevention campaigns targeting the gay community. So because we spend time and effort trying to educate people on the downsides of meth use, then I guess it's a seesaw that like then cocaine looks better by comparison or something.
Oh, wow, okay.
That's what it seems like they're saying. So yeah, it's interesting the different perceptions that we have within the community for meth compared to cocaine.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Do you guys agree? Does that match your sensibilities? No?
Kind of, yeah.
Kind of, maybe. By round of applause, which drug does Atlanta's gay scene struggle with more, meth or cocaine? We'll do meth first. A little bit. Cocaine. More votes for cocaine. In a bad way. Okay. Interesting. That's interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, okay, Kyle. We're gonna end on a more pleasant note.
Okay.
if you're ready.
Yes, let's do it.
I very much want to talk to you about Cocaine Bear. The movie Cocaine Bear, directed by Elizabeth Banks. I was just hyping, like, sometimes when we're preparing for the show, I ask ChatGPT and it comes up with terrible ideas. But this time I was like, what are some search terms for this show on Coke that I should use? And it came up with Cocaine Bear. It also said Cocaine Twink, which is not a thing, but damn, I wish it were.
It said Cocaine Twink?
Yeah. It just started,
I mean, it's kind of a thing.
Yeah.
It's not a thing.
I asked it for things to search for, and anyway, Cocaine Bear, if you're not familiar, is a 2023 American comedy horror film directed by Elizabeth Banks, is written by a guy named Jimmy Warden, and it is loosely inspired by true events.
Wow.
So there's an American black bear that actually existed, that is what all of this is based on. But the plot basically is that this drug smuggler drops a shipment of cocaine from a plane and doesn't launch his chute in time and basically dies, but the cocaine is out in the wilderness. And then eventually this bear, an actual, like the animal,
yeah, not the human. Yep.
finds all of this cocaine and gets like totally hopped up on cocaine and then goes on a rampage and murders a bunch of people.
Wow.
Like, it's wild to me that this, like, it's, I think, worst movie ideas of all time that had like actual serious people work on it, right? Like, close second, I think, is Snakes on a Plane. Like, that's like, how do you, what were you thinking?
Someone on cocaine came up with the idea for Cocaine Bear.
Maybe. Also, the movie is dedicated to Ray Liotta.
Why?
Because he died. He was in it and he died.
Because he died. Because he died. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But also, so in real life, both in the movie and in real life, parts of it take place in Georgia, which I think is interesting. But the two things that I really want to talk about when it comes to Cocaine Bear, Kyle.
Yes, let's get into it.
Let's get into it. First is all of these movies that spun off that just sound so bad they must be good, that were copycatting off of Cocaine Bear and its success. So there was a movie that was called Meth Gator.
Based in Florida?
Based in Florida.
Really?
Yeah. It's on an island in the Everglades, and a DEA agent and a local sheriff team up with locals to hunt down a giant alligator on meth.
Sure.
And they started production on the day that Cocaine Bear came out.
Wow. They weren't keeping that a secret, that connection.
They were not. Let's see. Then there's a movie called Cocaine Crabs from Outer Space.
What?
After two crabs from space land on Earth, a group of fraternity boys force feed them cocaine, which triggers an instinct in the crabs to kill, leading to a series of mysterious deaths. Detective Charlie Reese suspects crabs, but his theory is dismissed by his captain. Is this a setup to a porn? This sounds very like men.com to me. Determined to prove his theory, Reese teams up with the pet store employee named Alex Bailey to stop the crab's cocaine-fueled rampage.
Wow.
I love it so much. I have so much to watch now. There was Cocaine Shark, which Cocaine Shark was... I love this so much. There was a movie that was released in Japan called Kanezami Shakurabu, and it has nothing to do with cocaine bears, or cocaine sharks. They just were like, oh, that movie's doing well, so they renamed it Cocaine Shark and released it. It has
what? You can't do that.
Apparently, you can because they did.
I guess so.
A drug lord creates a new drug called HT25. It's derived from sharks kept in a secret laboratory, but extracting the drug causes unexpected mutations in the sharks, and after an explosion in the laboratory, the mutated sharks are released and begin wreaking havoc. The film features various mutated creatures, none of which are actually sharks on cocaine, as the title suggests.
It's misleading.
Yeah, but they were just like, hey, Cocaine Bear, everybody's talking about. There's Cocaine Werewolf. I'm not going to talk about Cocaine Werewolf.
That's the best one of the bunch that you've said.
Okay, fine. So a Wall Street business exec on his way back to Manhattan is wounded by a vicious werewolf. Out in the middle of nowhere, all he has on him is a couple of bags of cocaine.
As you do.
Like you do. The wound is causing him to hallucinate, and things about him begin to change. Once he snorts himself a few lines, he turns into a werewolf himself, leaving a trail of bodies behind him.
Wow. Is he hot?
A film crew is shooting out in the northern woods of Pennsylvania when they bring in the man to help. However, they're in for the fight of their lives when he overindulges in the white powder, once again transforming him into a bloodthirsty beast. So there's twin brothers, the Polonia brothers, and there's like a whole thing about them. They're twin brothers. One of them died. Mark is still alive and doing all of these movies, but they go based on quantity, not quality. That's their movie making philosophy.
That's my approach on Sniffies.
Yeah. Okay, back to Cocaine Bear though, Kyle.
Okay.
Because I need to bring the gay at some point, right?
Oh, there's something gay about it?
Yeah, it's a tenuous relationship.
I love your tenuous connections to gay shit.
Great. So the actual Cocaine Bear that was the inspiration for Cocaine Bear, the movie, was an American black bear She was a female. She was 175 pounds.
Feminism.
And she fatally overdosed on cocaine in 1985. There was no rampage. They found how much? It was a ridiculous amount. There was 75 pounds of cocaine, all of which had been ripped open, and the body of this bear was found nearby. And the investigators on the scene said that her stomach was literally packed to the brim with cocaine.
Wow.
She just overdosed. But the story led to this whole thing. But then they took the cocaine bear and they taxidermied her and took her to Lexington, Kentucky, where she sits in a museum. You can go visit the cocaine bear in Kentucky if you so choose. She's also known as Pablo Escobar and Cokie the bear. I'll wrap it up because the show's going to run long if I'm like, I love this thing. I have to go. I'm going to go visit the cocaine bear. But also, apparently, there are multiple couples in Kentucky who have had the cocaine bear taxidermied marry them. Here's the thing. According to the bear's owners, at the mall in Lexington, it's the Kentucky for Kentucky Fun Mall, which she's at, there's a sign, or not a sign, sorry, the bear's owners will let you know that the cocaine bear has the authority to officiate legally binding weddings.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Because of a loophole in Kentucky's marriage laws. So the claim is only partly true. The bear does not have the authority to solemnize weddings, but in the state of Kentucky, Kentucky cannot invalidate marriages performed by unqualified persons if the parties believe that the person marrying them has the authority to do so. So if the owners say the bear can totally marry you and they totally believe it and then they totally get married by the bear, that's apparently legally binding in Kentucky.
That's crazy. We're broken as a country.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, or at least Kentucky is broken as a state, but
Yeah.
I liked it there.
Yeah.
Anyway, I totally want to visit the cocaine bear. Maybe that's where my next wedding will be. I've had a couple. Why not another one at the cocaine bear? Anyway, that's Cocaine Bear. We can stop talking about it.
Okay.
Cocaine.
No, I just wanted to. We need to do a full episode on Cocaine Bear.
Maybe.
We need to both watch Cocaine Bear and come back and really dissect the film.
I told you, I think a good spin-off podcast might be us just like a reaction track to whatever random ass movie we decide to watch.
Oh.
That would write itself, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we
Great.
just get to watch Cocaine Bear and
You heard
other
it here.
fun things.
He's signing up for it. Okay, so we're going to take a break in just a second, but you need to know, please take your time to figure out your gayest and straightest if you want to share it, because it'll be open mic time for that. Did you have more? Is there more?
We decided that Coca-Cola is straight and cocaine is gay, right?
Coca-Cola is straight. Cocaine is gay. Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Okay.
You agree? Round of applause? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I think we figured it out then.
Okay. Excellent. You have enough to chug for the break time?
Barely.
Okay. Well, should we take a break and do a line, but not really because they'll kick us out?
Let's take a break.
Let's take a break.
This is the part where Mike and Kyle take a break.
Thank you for singing. That was adorable. Are we back?
We're back.
We're back! Yeah!
We are going to do our gayest and straightest.
We're going to do our gayest and straightest, but first. The rest of the tour. We have more tour stops.
Oh, yeah.
We're going places. Things are happening.
Yeah.
Please buy tickets. The next thing I get to stress out about is actually Chicago, but I'm not stressed. Here's what you need to know. It's coming. Here we go. It's happening soon.
Spell coming.
Any day now. Events. Okay, here we go. We're in Atlanta right now. So in 2 weeks, March 8th, we will be in Chicago at Sidetrack. And buy your tickets now, everybody. We loved it there 2 years ago and excited to go back now. And then March 22nd, we will be in Washington, D.C. at Pitchers. That show is going to sell out. So if you have been waiting to buy your tickets, do it now before you can't. Then on April the 6th, we will be at Oasis in San Francisco, California. Super excited for that. San Francisco is gay as hell, Kyle.
So fucking gay.
And then we are rounding out this trip for the book tour on April the 20th, and we will be at the Rose Room in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah. If you want all the details on the tour, go to gayishpodcast.com/book, and you can also see where to buy our book.
Yeah, which you should buy.
Which you should buy.
Because it's a book.
Because you can read it.
That you need.
That you need. For sure.
Our website is gayishpodcast.com.
We are on social media at Gayish Podcast.
Our hotline, you can send us text messages or leave us voicemails. It's 5855-GAYISH. That's 585-542-9474. Standard rate supply.
Our email is gayishpodcast@gmail.com.
And our physical mailing address is Post Office Box 19882, Seattle, Washington, 98109. Derek, thank you for the beverage. I really appreciate you. Is it time?
Do you want to do our Gayest and Straightest?
Gayest and Straightest?
Yeah.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, great. I'm going to go first. So the straightest thing about me this week is because my bathroom downstairs filled up with literal shit in the new house, they had to disconnect my laundry machines, so I don't have laundry. The straightest thing about me is I'm not doing laundry. I'm just re-wearing everything over and over again. It's... Don't applaud for that. I do not need encouragement.
Get dirty.
Yeah,
Get nasty.
Yeah. Speaking of sniffies. The gayest thing about me this week is we checked into the hotel last night when we got here, and their system was down for some reason. So instead of getting to check in, she was like, I can't look anything up. If you have something you can show me on your phone that has your confirmation number and details, then we can get you in your room, but you have to fill out this form. So I'm filling out this form, hand her my phone, fill out the form, give her a credit card. All of that's great. It's on the way up the elevator that I'm like, oh my God, I left my phone with that bitch, and Grindr is lighting me up right now. Oh God!
Did you get that new Grindr new
God,
profile?
The fresh meat effect on Grindr is pretty. That's the only reason I travel for work, Kyle. It's just so I feel pretty.
It's pretty great. Yep.
How about you? What's up?
For me, my gayest is that a dude left my place. You know.
Yeah.
And he asked me if his load was still in my ass, and I said that I had to set it free.
Let it go.
It has to go back to home. And the straightest is having diarrhea. That's not conducive to anything that I like to do.
Yeah, that's not. This just shuts the whole thing down, really.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, listeners, Gayest and Straightest, Atlanta, I know you want to share. Are you ready for that? I saw your hand first. You made eye contact. Come on up.
Come on up to this mic right up here. Tell us your name. If you want to say your pronouns, you can. If you're from here or somewhere else, let us know. And then you're Gayest and Straightest.
Awesome. Can you hear me? You good?
Yeah.
All right. Hex, they, them. My gayest is... It was a couple weeks ago. Did my first drag show ever.
Oh, congrats.
Performed.
Yeah.
My straightest, probably ordering the smoked beer here.
Oh.
I think I'm one of maybe two people. So.
Everyone's drinking the seltzer. That's the first.
Yeah. How'd your drag show go?
Oh, great. Tiny audience, but it was at a convention, and it was kind of awesome.
Could we do more?
Could be doing it again.
Yeah.
So.
That's amazing. Congrats.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks.
You. Yeah. Come on up. And then James. It's James? Yeah. My memory is on point today, and I don't know why. Yeah, what's up?
So I'm Alan, pronouns he, him. My gayest would be eagerly anticipating this afternoon of faggotry.
Oh.
Yay.
Yeah.
My straightest would be an hour-long phone call with my architectural team on how to connect an incoming tenant to our local grease intercept.
I don't know what you just said, but it sounds very heterosexual.
Very heterosexual.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, James, he, him. My gayest was figuring out what I was going to wear for this event, and my straightest is I felt like I needed to add more holes to my belt to cinch it tighter, and I was able to use an awl and a hole punch to do it.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Leatherworking is like really any like trade, any like craft.
MacGyvering your...
Yeah. Cookie? You're Cookie. Come on.
Hi, I'm Cookie. My straightest is totally feeling that the address to this place was 2 miles from work, but then when I left work today, realizing it was 7 miles away and I biked here. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, I almost did not make it. The gayest is that I am part of a committee right now developing our first Fet Gala here in Atlanta. So if you are wanting to come here May 3rd, we're developing that right now.
A Fet Gala?
Yes.
Okay, tell me more about that. What is
that? Fetish Gala with the KDS Kink Down South. We're working out. Oh, look at that. This is exciting. This is so exciting. So basically, if you have any fetish, whether it's whatever it is, we're creating a gala for that night to celebrate fetish.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you.
That's amazing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Anybody else? Yeah, Cody, I see you. Did you wear your hat backwards for Kyle?
Got to.
So for my gayish, reading You're Probably Gayish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
And then the straightest before coming down to Atlanta, waiting until about 2 minutes before we left and just throwing a bunch of stuff in a bag and heading down here.
Oh, yeah. That's what I did packing for here, too. Yep.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is it Andrew? What is going on? I am a steel trap
Wow,
today.
I barely remember your name.
How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
My straightest is obsessively talking about the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. Go Birds. And my gayest is obsessively
sports
talking about
thing,
the
right?
Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Okay.
Because my boyfriend's tired of me talking about the Eagles winning the Super Bowl.
Sports, man. That gets you every time. Thank you. Sure, yeah. I feel like your name starts with a D. Dan? Daniel.
Daniel, he, him. So my
I don't know what's up with me today.
straightest is I tried snowboarding this week and I fractured my wrist.
Oh.
So that was fun. My gayest is me and my husband kept sneaking alcohol into the cabin with my conservative family. So
I mean, whatever you got to do to get through it, really.
It was Jack and Coke? That's amazing. On theme. You knew somehow.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Don't be shy.
Hi, Jason, he, him. My straightest. Recently in the rainstorms, I had some flooding in my basement, so I realized I've got to put in a French strainer across the back. So I'm going to do it with myself, because it would otherwise be expensive. My gayest is I'm going to put it off until I can get some friends to come over and have like cocktails and pizza to do it. My second gayest is I woke up this morning from a dream where I was in a podunk version of Drag Race and I was giving somebody tips on how to put their wigs on better.
Oh. Dream you is gay.
Yeah.
Yay.
Nice. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you. Okay, well, thank you, Atlanta. You are amazing and wonderful, and really appreciate you. People here are super friendly. It's awesome. Thank you. Give yourselves a round of applause for being here and putting up with our shit. A thank you to Derek for being a wonderful employee. And a thank you to Joe and his awesome staff here at Round Trip Brewing. They've been wonderful to work with. Really appreciate them. We have a food and beverage minimum to hit, so everybody suck another beer down before you go, please. And thanks to everybody who shared their Gayest and Straightest. It takes balls to stand up in front of strangers and talk about this stuff, so I really, really appreciate that.
And thanks to everyone who does Coke. Yeah. And thank you to our super gap bridgers. Thank you to Locomotive, Simon Strachey, Kaylee Adams, Kit Oliver, Kobe Gordon, Squoggle, Pip, Andrew Bugby, William Bryant, John Carly, Yost Osel, Jonathan Montanius, Forrest Nil, Steve Douglas, Explosive Lasagna, Michael Cubbington, Just Jamie, Thomas B, Dusty Sands, A. Coleman, Chris Cacciatorians, and Jerome York. Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your money. That's it. This has been Gayish from Round Trip Brewing in Atlanta, Georgia, and the Chris Cacciatorian Studios. I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz. Until next week, be butch, be fabulous, be you.
See you next week. Thanks, Atlanta.
Thank you.